Hello and welcome. This is Rudy from the Higher View channel. In this video, I will show you something deeply meaningful, something that might shift the way you see your whole life. Let's talk about the path of your soul, of which your actual life is an important part. When you gain awareness of certain key aspects of your soul's journey, your inner life becomes smoother with fewer struggles and more peace. Okay, let's begin with a fundamental fact. Your soul is old. It has lived many lives, often again and again in certain cultures, and even within the same family line. You could literally be your own great-grandfather living in the house that you once built in your previous life. When you integrate the idea of many lives and how they may influence this actual life, you can literally solve important conflicts within your heart. Let's look at an example, something that touches both your spiritual path and your heart. Suppose you're currently struggling with your spiritual direction, and if that doesn't apply right now, just imagine it for a moment. Maybe it's a certain religion, maybe it's a certain teacher, or a kind of philosophy or belief. Let's say you think, to be honest, it does not really work perfectly for me in a way that I am yearning for. No matter how respected or celebrated the path may be, you feel a quiet resistance. And that resistance doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It doesn't mean you're failing in your spiritual growth. It might simply mean you are following a path that does not match your soul. If your soul has lived many lifetimes as a Buddhist, for example, and you now incarnate into a Christian or Hindu environment, this can create a subtle inner confusion. You might study and practice everything with care and discipline, but if you're deeply honest with yourself, it leaves you feeling dry, not refreshed, not nourished. A soul path is to your soul what water is to a thirsty person. You need it not as a concept but as a living source so your inner world doesn't dry out. If you feel stuck, if your spiritual practice doesn't truly touch you, if you're left with more and more unanswered questions and the whole journey makes you feel like a beginner again and again, then maybe you are not on the right path. That doesn't mean that you are on a wrong path in general. It may mean that you're simply not on your path. Every religion or philosophy has truth and power, but not every path is your soul's home. If it doesn't quench your soul's thirst, it's time to look deeper, to compare things and ways to see the universe, to feel if persons you follow are really loved by your heart or just respected for their knowledge, to watch others and the results that the path brought for them. You can say, if your soul does not really feel satisfied, you are allowed to ask, why is that so? And you can be sure in one thing. It is not so because you are wrong or not good enough or not developed enough. You are fully okay just the way you are. If you are not quenched by a religion or a teacher, then it is simply not your favorite drink. It's not your personal soul ambrosia. That's all, and that's the truth. And then comes a moment of decision. You can stay on that path and go on doing everything as it is demanded. Or you start looking for a different path, a path that fits you better. Even though it's 100% personal decision and not against a person or against a tradition or belief or religion. You will feel forces pulling you back, yes, family traditions maybe, or your partner perhaps, or a teacher or a guru who doesn't want to lose you as a student, or social groups you belong to, your town, your club, your circle or friends. And then are the inner voices, things you were told as a child. All these may try to hold you back on the old path. The ancient philosopher Socrates once said they want to hold you back in their cave. At some point, you may have to make a decision from your heart and leave behind the old authorities in your life. Yes, that can hurt, but it also allows you to grow beyond anything you ever imagined. Letting go of traditions or people simply because they no longer match the voice of your heart is one of the greatest spiritual choices a human being can make. There is a story about Jesus meeting his first disciple, John. John was a fisherman. Jesus said to him, "Follow me." But John hesitated. He had a family, he had responsibilities. And Jesus replied, "Come, I will make you a fisher of men." The deeper message in this is, a true soul path may ask you to leave behind something big. Of course, it's a legend. No one is asking you to abandon your loved ones. But the truth remains. If a tradition or belief no longer nourishes your soul, then it's time to walk on. Even if that means stepping into the unknown. Because your soul deserves to be fed, and it knows the way. So if you feel that your path doesn't nourish your soul, listen gently. Your soul may be inviting you to remember something deeper, something older than this life, something that belongs to you. You don't need to rush. You don't need to rebel. But you are allowed to explore, to feel, to follow the quiet signs. Because in the end, it's not about being right. It's about being true to your soul. And when you find a path that truly matches your inner being, you will know. Because your soul will stop searching and start shining. Thank you for watching this video. If something in you resonated, just trust that feeling. Maybe it's a sign, maybe it's the beginning of something new. I'm sending you much love and clarity on your soul's journey. Take good care and see you in the next video.